Alrighty, going live in three, two, one. This is TNZ episode number 5. We're up to number 5 already. That's pretty exciting. How are you doing, Tina?
Number 5. I'm good. How are you doing, Zoom?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I guess the usual question is, how's the weather doing? I guess where you are, everything. For here, it's getting extremely hot. I had the air conditioning on. I still feel kind of sweaty today.
It's breezy and pretty gray out. There was tornadoes in Chicago and rain over there, so we're not getting their tornadoes, but we're getting their rain and stuff like that. But it's one of those cool days where it's wet but it's comfortable. It's really nice, actually.
Oh, okay. We're supposed to be getting that tomorrow, I think. So tomorrow's supposed to drop down like 20 degrees, 15 to 20 degrees. So I think we're getting your storm tomorrow. So
Yep. Well, you can thank Chicago for that.
So, would you like to check our question we had from last week? Do you remember what that was?
Yes, our question was about dreams.
Yes.
In recurring dreams. And I'm very, very curious to see what people said about this because it ties so well into this movie. Well, not exactly, but it does to me. It does to me. We'll see what that.
Just so everyone knows, I have the title listed at The Adventures of Baron Munchausen movie review. So as the title of this video, so that's where we're leading up to. And I mentioned that this is Terry Gilliam, who directed both movies, said this is referred to this as kind of a trilogy of sorts, and they're not really tied into each other. More or less, it's like they share the same kind of premise. You have a lot of fantasy mixed with a little bit of reality, and usually a person who's on board. It's usually a child that's on board of an adventure, and they go on an adventure and meet lots of different crazy characters along the way. So that's the best way to describe it. So. Here's our question. 66%. Okay, let me start with the question itself. What's your favorite kind of dream? 66% being rich with lots of money. Wow, that's pretty high up there. Considering that when you wake up, you don't have the money. So.
Yeah. I'm really surprised. Wow.
I guess maybe these people would like to be in a permanent coma and just have be rich for the rest of their life then. So. I'm just kidding with that one. Let's see. Next one down. We got a tie. It looks like 10% about family and friends in a fantasy world or an alternate reality. Excuse me. So next down, 9% with romance and living in paradise, luxury, etc. at 5%. That's interesting.
So the deal was, if romance got number 1, Zoom would tell us about his romance and his dreams, but it didn't. So you get a pass.
You get a pass.
You don't. Yep. You're lucky.
I feel like the kid who's had to go up in front of the class and read a book report in front of the class, and he's all sweaty and nervous. Now I'm relieved I don't have to do it now.
Yep. You lucked out. We'll get you next time though with something.
Well, let me take a look at
something else.
Jalen Willingham said all of the above. Well, that's interesting. That was a day ago. Tab says my favorite dream is where I'm student of Bulworth Academy. That's a video. That's from the video game Bully, by the way, in case you're wondering. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that video game. So my best friend is Jimmy, who's the main character of the game. Pitt and Zoe and Russell. I forget those characters. I don't remember those in the game, but I'm in the process of playing through it right now on my channel.
Cool.
We are going to English class. Galloway and Ms. Phillips are kissing, and then Galloway starts teaching a lesson, but then I'm waking up.
Ooh.
It's interesting.
Spicy. Are those two characters that are meant to be in love or no?
I'm still working through the. I played the game about 14 years ago, but I don't remember all the details, and so I'm basically about almost a third of the way through right now. So I don't remember exactly. Some of the names I remember them, but I don't remember all the details with all these characters. So
right.
The game itself has a T for teen rating, so there's not a lot of adult content in it, or very, very mild, what we call it adult content. So let's see, number, see, no, Ahmed. It says, be rich. Uh, nothing. Oh, yeah, someone is angry here. None of these BS. Uh,
Oh man,
let's, let's see
didn't
my,
offer anything.
no,
That's okay. Just let us
I
know what you're thinking of.
see my Lord something. I'm not sure. Maybe like a religious dream, I guess. Um, that's what the little letters at the end are. Dream where when I got a new gaming PC and I played heavy games and everything got dark because the dream is over.
Man, that's a withdrawal dream.
The got number one, seeking Allah's mercy, another religious one. Okay, that's just gibberish, I guess. Meeting my favorite K-pop idol, a K-pop.
That's a good one.
I'm familiar with K-pop. Are those the dancers that like dress like women sometimes? Is that what I'm thinking of, or is that something else?
I see. I think there's guy groups and girl groups. Um, but you're probably thinking of the right thing. The super upbeat, dancey groups. Yeah, that's a good one
Okay.
though. Meeting someone famous.
Mhm. Yeah, usually like some sort of Asian group. That's what I'm thinking of. I popped it up in the search right now. That's what came up.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a couple. There's some boy band that dresses more like really feminine. That's what I was thinking when I heard that. But I'm not familiar
Mm,
enough with the style of music. So yeah, but yeah, meeting someone famous. Did I tell you about my lost dream? I was
no.
I was a devoted fan of the TV show Lost. I'm afraid to say, and occasionally I would have dreams where I was actually on the TV show Lost. I was part of the crew. I was part of the cast, and I was one of the Lost characters. That's how devoted I was to that show. It was really bizarre. I haven't had one of those dreams in a long time, but I had them. So,
It's okay. You were not alone in that. That's for sure. It got a lot of people.
uh-huh. Let's see. Meeting. Okay, got that one. Having I assume a girlfriend, a GF. Let's see. Minecraft dream.
That's interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that.
a bunch of blocky things chasing after you, and you have a little axe and you're hacking them away, I guess. Um, every dream that I have is a crazy dream. Nightmare is your favorite dream, really? Interesting. I had a nightmare dream when I was a kid, like 6 years old or so. I was in a fighting ring. I was getting ready to fight somebody for some reason in a boxing ring, I should say. And I'm not a fighter, which is kind of strange that I was in a boxing ring. So,
Right.
um, the opponent I was fighting had a cover over his head, and when he pulled the cover off, it turned out it was Bigfoot from the monster from the woods. And I was so frightened that I woke up and the dream ended right there. So,
Those are
uh,
the worst where you wake up and you're like, oh, that was just a dream.
like I said, I was only 5 or 6 years old, so and I remember
Oh,
the dream being in black and white too, which is also kind of bizarre because I usually dream in color. So
interesting.
let's
That's me.
see.
I wonder what makes people do that.
Yeah, the and I've heard other people say they have dreams in black and white. Almost all my dreams I remember are in color. So another thing that's kind of interesting about dreams. My dad said that you can't see. Now, I didn't believe this, that you can't see your hands or your feet when you're dreaming. And I was like, I purposely want. Oh well, I don't know if you've heard of the technique called lucid dreaming. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I used to be really good at it, and after he said that, while I was lucid dreaming one night, I purposely looked down. And I saw both my hands and my feet in my dream. So I'm not sure where he got that from. So, but I definitely saw them. He was kind of surprised when I told
Interesting.
him. So maybe if you're not controlling your dreams, maybe you can't see them. I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
One thing I'm curious about is I've never noticed. Can you see your nose while you're dreaming? Because when you don't think about it, but your eyes, when you're looking at your nose is always obstructing part of your view when you're awake. So do you actually see your nose when you're dreaming, or do you see nothing in front of you, like a video game almost?
I doubt it. I doubt, but I've never given that thought before. So we'll update you on that.
Kiss Best Fan says all the stuff would be gone after we pass away anyway. This is why I prefer to live my life the good way. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Like it says in the book, we are blessed and cursed. That's a line from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So.
Oh,
And then the line, the Big Smoke book. That's also part of the game. So, I dream about nothing. All I ever see is blackness. That's scary. You're,
sometimes there are just days and nights where you just go to sleep and wake up. I think those are when you're most tired because your body just needs to just shut off for a little bit. I don't think, I think that's when you're really tired. So maybe I could be totally wrong.
I had when I was about 19 years old, 18 or 19 years old, I lost the ability to dream with images for a while, which is really bizarre. I know, and all I remember seeing was like weird lines and shapes in my head when I was sleeping. And then what I did was I bought these self-help subliminal recordings, which are supposed to boost your confidence. I played them while I was sleeping, and all of a sudden my dreams got restored to like normal dreams after that.
Interesting. Whoa. It's so crazy what happens when we're asleep, our brain activity. That's wow. I've never heard of anything like that, but that is really cool.
And I'm not sure what those dreams were before because they were really almost disturbing in a sense because I couldn't figure out what I was looking at whenever I was sleeping. So I'd wake up and I was like, what the hell is that? So
Yeah.
it didn't last very long, fortunately. To be satisfied with myself comes from the next one I can't read. The Big Smoke, another dream about meeting celebrities. Tristan Cummings says everyone wants money, but who's really willing to put the time, effort, and motivation into actually making it? I don't see that coming from people watching YouTube. Okay. Next one now is a wet dream. Okay.
We'll put that in the romance.
About meeting Jesus one day, another religious one, or maybe Jesus, maybe it was a friend of his. I'm not sure. Oh, this is a long one. I had a dream I was getting off work and was kidnapped by aliens. Next thing you know, I got an ankle monitor on my leg in case they thought I was a threat. Next thing you know, they said that they need my help. And their leader was shit in the throat and survive, but need a replace during surgery. And wait for it. They said they need a needed. Okay, this is not really written very well. A chunk of my butthole area for their leader's lungs because it was perfect match. The assassin tried to kill them, and we got into a fight by choking me. I stabbed him throat. I became their hero, and they dropped me off the next day after surgery. And I was like, and they cut themselves off. So.
Here we go again. Wow.
That's
That is a vivid, and I would probably put that in the nightmare category. But
very well. I mean, it draws a lot of imagery in my own head just by trying to read what he said there.
yeah, surgery nightmares. Oh, that is so scary. Surgery ones though. Ooh, that's like a whole genre of nightmare.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a surgery dream at all. Never any physical injuries, nothing being cut off or anything like that.
You're lucky.
Nothing like that. I've had dreams where I've levitated straight up. Well, those are more lucid dreams. I'll just float away, and just fly away and just go somewhere else. So, Sandeep Mohican or Mogan, or I'm sorry, I can't read that. Mohan says about my family with little hearts and 3 little thumbs up.
Oh, that's nice.
And Brandon P says I dream of living on Grove Street and hanging out with CJ, which is the video game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So, and there's all basically also basically San Andreas comments. So yeah.
Nice.
I've never had a dream. I played the game a lot, but I've never had a dream about Grand Theft Auto San Andreas or any Grand Theft Auto game, in fact. So it's kind of interesting. I can't even. To be honest, I guess the game was just maybe because it doesn't look as realistic as some of the modern video games do, or maybe if it did, maybe I might. I don't know. So I've never dreamt about a video game.
I have video game dreams all the time.
Do you really? What games?
Yep. Most recently, Final Fantasy 14. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, I get really vivid video game dreams. So I don't know. I don't know. They just we're different people.
Yeah, that's interesting. Are they pleasurable dreams, good dreams, or how would you describe them?
Um, Not good or bad. Just in it. I'm just doing things. I'm just playing as my character basically.
Hmm.
So I'll just be in
Oh, so
fighting things.
you're actually playing the actual game. You're like in the game playing at the same time? Is it like
Yeah.
that? Oh
Yeah, it's
wow.
like I'm inserted into it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. I wish I had a dream like that. I should try to control my
Maybe
dream.
tonight. Yeah, control this one tonight.
So, do you have another question you'd like to ask anyone? Ask our audience, I should say.
Well, ahead to the Baron Munchausen, there was a lot of dream like things in the moon, and um so I want to stay away from that. But I guess my question would be what stories, like the whole concept of Baron Munchausen is he tells this story, people are telling a story about him, and he says that's not true at all. Like, you guys have it all wrong. You're totally off. And he retells the story. So my question would be, like, it might even be a yes or no and explain in the comments, but like, what's a story, like, do you have a story that people tell and they have it all wrong? That's my question. It's like, it's hard to put into that though, but maybe that's a comments one of like, do you have a story, do you got a story that people tell and they have it all wrong? Or like, what's a story that you love to tell that people never get right?
Okay, what's a story like? Am I typing that right? Yeah, like
Yeah.
you tell that people uh misunderstand, just don't understand, or I'm trying to figure out
Yeah. They just
don't
don't get it.
understand. But understand, we can put in quotes another, like, understand. They don't get it.
Maybe this will be a comments based question. We'll read the comments more because
Yeah,
um
yeah, that's kind of hard to put because then we won't be able to. The comments usually aren't very good. But if it gets too specific, let's see. I'm trying to think of how we could do that.
let's revisit this, and before we go, we'll get a good question from the movie. How's that?
Okay, okay, all right.
We'll revisit this, but I like the movie's just so good. It really was. So
Okay, so yeah, let's jump into our review of The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. So, this is a movie you had never seen before, is that right?
that is correct. I had never seen this, and it was another fantastic movie. It was so creative and so detailed that it was, and it just like very imaginative. The imagination was just like rolling at hyper speed with this movie. And I feel like there aren't movies lately that I've seen that really suck you into the movie. You don't you're an observer and you're watching this, but you really do feel like you're in a story. You don't feel like you're just watching something. And maybe I'm a little biased because I love theater and I'm a thespian at heart, but just seeing the stage performers at the beginning and the end, and I was like, I wish I was there. I wish I was there. And then by the end of it, I was like, I kind of am.
That's interesting. Well, I've got a different version for myself. I saw the movie when it was in the theaters, and it was not very popular at all. In fact, a lot of people did not really care for it. And when I went to see it, I actually hated the movie the first time I saw
What?
it. And I gave it a second chance, which is something I do every once in a while. And I actually grew to like it. I think I didn't like it because the fantasy elements were just way over the top in this. And compared to, like, say, the Time Bandits movie, which had some fantasy elements, it was more grounded in reality. This one was way over the top with the fantasy stuff, and I think maybe that's why I didn't like it at first. But I grew to like it. I actually like it when it came back, when it was released on cable back in the day. I watched it over and over, and I couldn't get enough of it. So, but I grew to love it, and so it's kind of funny. It's a lot of things happen with me like that. I'll hate something at first, and I'll go back and watch it a second time. And I grew to like it. So another example would be the movie Spaceballs. The video game, which I have on my channel, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I hated that when it came out, but now that's the one I play the most on my channel. So it's always one of those weird twists. So, the score in the movie is really good. Also the dream elements. Is it a dream or is it real? Was revisited, like in Time Bandits. The character Baron Munchausen, from what I've read on the internet, is actually based on a real character, a real person. I mean, in real life, that actually came back from I forget the wars he fought in. They'll come back and tell these outlandish stories that people would listen to. So I don't know how true that is. Maybe that's a myth as well. But I can see that I can see that being true in some way, as far as like someone being so outlandish in his storytelling. And this was also, I don't know if you watched the movie to I think it was the very end. There's a disclaimer at the very end of the movie, says this is not to be confused with the 1942-1943 release of The Adventures of Baron Munchausen that was released for whatever reason. They wanted to make sure everyone wanted to know this was not the same movie for some reason. Obviously, it's not. And I'm sure hardly anyone remembers that one, let alone this one, because this one is not extremely popular to begin with. So I thought that was kind of funny. They had that disclaimer on there. Here's got the movie up here. So, but as the characters were very well done. Eric Idle was the only other Monty Python character aside from Terry Gilliam, our person, I should say, that had part of this. I didn't see any other. I don't remember any other Monty Python people in this one. So
I don't think so.
And of course Terry Gilliam very rarely makes an on-screen appearance. So, and I'm trying to think, what would you like to add to that?
Just, you mean the characters or the
movie in general, I guess.
In general, I think everyone knows that person. Everyone has a person in their life that tells ridiculously tall tales or exaggerates to the point where it's just absurd. And if you don't, you might be that person. I'm just kidding there. But those people, you can look at it two ways. Either those, you can be like the performers in the movie where they're, just doing their thing. They're just trying to get their company established in this, in the city. And they are having none of it. They don't believe him. They don't care. He's a nuisance. And I mean, he really gets in the way of what they're trying to do and ruins everything. So you can look at it that way with those people who tell these tales. Or you can be like, the little girl in the movie where you give them a chance and you really let this person go and tell their thing. And, they may not be telling the full truth, but you might have to understand that those people aren't always there to tell the truth. They're putting on a production or a performance, or they're doing their own type of performing in telling these tall tales. So it all just depends on how you look at it. And that's kind of what I took away from this movie is, there might be truth to what he's saying. Obviously, it's entirely exaggerated, or none of it could be true. We don't know because, then the end of the movie kind of sets you up for that feeling too of, was it even real? Like where, and then it's kind of like, whoa, like what actually happened?
Yeah.
But, it's kind of, I feel like it could be interpreted as a comment on those type of people. I don't think that was the director's intent at all. But when I look at Baron Munchausen, I think of that type of person and the ways that you can handle that type of person. Have none of it or let him go on a roll and see what happens. So I loved it, and definitely a character. Definitely a character. to say the least.
No, you bring up this idea of you talked about how people like telling tales, and maybe there's some of it's true and some of it's not. I've actually, in my lifetime, I've encountered at least 4 people that are compulsive liars that would always lie. At first, when I met them, I thought they were being truthful, and after a while, the stories just got more and more unbelievable and unbelievable. And believe it or not, one of them was actually a woman who I actually asked to marry me, but that never happened, so we broke it off. But she turned out to be a major compulsive liar as well, and that's one of the main reasons I had to get out of it. By the end, she was telling me that she was Sarah Michelle Gellar's stunt double for the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh my God. How did you get wrapped up with someone like that? That's so funny.
It's a long story, very long story.
That's hilarious.
And watching Baron Munchausen, he has the same conviction that these people that I knew, one of them, all 4 of these people, I can vividly remember all 4 of these people. All of them had the same amount of conviction. They were always so honest. They thought everything they were saying was so truthful. And he does the same thing. He comes across and says, "This is true. This is these are lies. I know the truth. This is what really happened." So, and the whole idea of the dream elements mixed in with that is also. Before I go too far, I also want to talk about how at the beginning, just like in Time Bandits, they have a lot of foreshadowing as to what's going to happen. The play foreshadows the whole story, a lot of the elements that are going to happen, like the whale. Like the scene with the whale, a little modicum of snuff will help you out a lot. He does that whole scene. It's the same thing in Time Bandits. There's a lot of small imagery around there that shows you what's going to happen or what already happened previously. And Terry Gilliam did that pretty well. Like I said at the beginning, he refers to this as a trilogy. This one, Time Bandits Brazil, and then finally this movie. And as I was saying, it's basically just a lot of fantasy mixed in with some elements of reality and a fantastic journey along the way. I think Brazil does not, the main character, I haven't watched it all the way through. That's the one out of the 3 I've not seen all the way through yet. My dad loves that one, and the main character in that one is actually played by the evil person in this one. The guy who was the town. Let me see if I can bring him up here. There, right there. I just had him there. That guy right here on the right. This guy.
I think I didn't catch his official title. He's like the city representative or.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But the actor plays the good guy, the hero in Brazil, which is kind of funny. He plays a villain in this one. So
interesting. He plays a villain very well. He's kind of one of those like twerpy guys that you just want to.
Yeah. And at the very end, he obviously giving away a lot of spoilers here. He kills Baron Munchausen. And then at the very end, after that happens, they have the funeral, and then everyone is standing up on stage. And then my dad always likes to point this out when they let me jump ahead here. When jumped too far ahead. He's when they're standing up on stage, everyone always has this surprised look on their face, like did that just really happen, or is that a dream? Everyone has this kind of surprised look for a split second there, and it's kind of funny. Right there, you can see they're still mourning. But then, like when they pull back, all of a sudden the people have like this surprised look on their face, like what happened? What happened here? It's kind of funny how they do that. The girl was awesome in this. The little kid. I thought she did a very good job. She's I was watching some videos of her today, and she looks just like she does back then, except she's full grown. Her appearance didn't really change very much. So if you can imagine a woman that's like looks just like that, only taller, it's kind of funny. Usually when kids get older, they change their appearance. She really looks pretty much the same. It's kind of funny. So
just like a digital age progression photo.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So the different characters going through as far as I can't remember their names now. The only thing I can say, I do want to say before I forget this, is that some of the editing was a little awkward. Sometimes they would say something and it was like, what did he say? And I remember having to rewind it back a couple of times just to remember what they said exactly, because it was just weirdly framed. And the pacing and the timing was just kind of weird, but that wasn't too much. It didn't happen very often, but they'd be talking, and there's the way they would talk. It was just kind of weird how they did the editing on that. I don't know why they did. It didn't seem like it seemed kind of amateurish sometimes, but for the most part, the movie, like I would say, the vast majority of it's done very well. I don't know if you saw any of those scenes that really stood out like that.
Yeah, I did. When Vulcan introduced himself with Venus, I did not catch his name was Vulcan, and I had to skip it back. And there were those. So it's at some points you did have to listen very, very closely,
Yeah.
very closely. And I was watching this with no cell phone. Normally, I text during the movie. I get distracted. None of that, and I missed it.
Yeah. So you saw that too. Yeah. Go ahead. I didn't
Yeah. No, it's just you do got to pay close attention at certain points with this, but it's worth it. It really is. But even then, you might have to skip back once or twice.
and then of course Uma Thurman. This is one of her very first movies. It's not her first movie, but it's definitely one of the ones where she wasn't really known yet. So it's kind of funny to see her, and she definitely looks a lot younger. Uh, she she was very good in this one too. So try to think. I can't really think of anything to add to that though.
He just loves women. That's one other thing about Baron Munchausen. He just loves women. He loves married women. Loves married women.
And then the whole there was a scene. I remember telling you this when we were reviewing the movie Time Bandits. How Terry Gilliam loves the merry-go-round. At the very end, there's a scene where they do another he does another merry-go-round scene where he cuts off all their heads as they're circling around him.
Yep, I noticed that too.
I'm trying to find it, but it's too hard to find. I don't want to play this, get any copyrights. So, the other characters, I was getting into that before. All of them were done pretty well. The one character, the character that has the gun and has the very good eyesight, I don't know who he is. And also the big guy, the guy that was really strong. So I don't know, but obviously Eric Idle and then the little guy. I know them. I know him from Time Bandits. The little guy, I can't remember his name now. But the other two, I was trying to look them up. I don't remember them from anything else. But the guy that had the good eyesight kind of reminded me almost of John Cleese in some ways. Almost the way he was acting sometimes. One of my favorite lines from the movie is when it's spoken by him, or one of the favorite scenes is with him in it, is when Baron Munchausen comes in and he says he's asking where Eric Idle's character is. They're at the Sultan's palace, and the guy with I'm trying to see if I can find it. The guy with the gun right back here says, yeah, somewhere right here. He says to Baron Munchausen, "Is that all? I don't think that's funny." And the way he said it, the delivery was seemed just like John Cleese. But then Baron Munchausen says something to the effect, this isn't funny. This is a wager." And all of a sudden they jump to attention. They go, "A wager?" And all of a sudden they take it real seriously. So like a split second ago, they're like, "Ooh, nothing, that doesn't really matter." But for some reason, when they said the wager, it's like, "Oh my goodness, now we got to take it more seriously." So
Money's on the table.
How did you feel about, of course, he's always good in any movie. Just jumping around here. Robin Williams.
I mean, I liked the concept of his character. His head and body were independent of each other, but I'm not as much of a fan of his specific style of slapstick goofiness. I don't know. That's just a personal preference. I thought it was okay. But I think he's a good actor, in general. I think he's a good actor, but I don't I'm not a fan of fake accents and stuff like that. It's just too over the top for me. I can get behind anything fantasy, but the accents I can't get into. That's me. What do you think?
I thought it was good. I thought it was very typical for his style of humor. I thought when I saw the movie for the first time, I said I didn't like it, but I did like his performance in there. And of course, they did say that the head and the body were different from each other. However, that didn't seem to be the case for the Queen. The Queen's head, when she was separated, she was still the Queen. She didn't have a different personality. So
Maybe it's
Uh,
optional.
the and then when his head attached, he would disattach. It would turn white. It was like a small effect, so you could tell that he was actually separated from his body. So, the character was kind of weird. I think I told you that. I don't know I don't think we said this before on a show, but I told you that something to do like his agent didn't want his name in the movie credits. So wait, I brought up the. Let me bring it up over here.
I looked for it too, and his name was not in there. I was so surprised.
Well, if you're in the closing credits, they're there. Hold on a second.
Oh, real? Oh, and then maybe just not at the
Well, I'm sorry,
beginning.
not his real name, but the alias that he used. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right. Yes, his alias.
Yeah, the alias. Where is it? Right here. Here it is. Yeah, here. Robin Williams, as Ray D. Tutto.
Ray Detail. Oh, that's such a funny fake name.
So, and I don't remember what it was. I do remember though my dad telling me that he read something. This was when the movie was new, so there was no internet at the time that you could just log on and to check this out. But like, yeah, it was something to the effect. He read it in the paper that he didn't think this was going to be a good movie, and he didn't think it was a good idea for Robin Williams to have his name associated with it, even though he has a very prominent role in the movie, and he really everyone knows who he is. It's not like he would like he's a background character or something. So. Oh, Sting was in this too. I forgot about that. So, who else is in this? There was anything. Yeah, I'm trying. I don't see anyone else in here. This is the woman that, or at the time she was a girl, but yeah, she's you can see she looks pretty much like she does as an adult. She doesn't really change very much.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of funny. I was watching an interview of her, and she does a lot of different directing things and things like that. She's not really into acting anymore. But who else was in there? Was there anyone else that I could think of? Eric Idle, was Vulcan. No one else I can think of off the top of my head that really stood out. This is not really a real. There were a few handful of people that really stood out. The person John Neville, who played the Baron. I've seen him around before. I know he died. Yeah, he died about 10 years ago. So, he's been in a lot of different things. He was The Fifth Element. I remember seeing him in that.
Very good movie.
He was also in, I never watched it. I think he was in the X-Files, the TV show. My dad was a huge fan of the X-Files. So I think he was in that. Yeah, the X-Files. Yeah, there he is. So the well-manicured man is what this says there. But other than that, I don't really remember anything else. So unless I'm trying to see. Was there anyone else that stood out for you in the movie?
No, I thought everyone was very fitting for their roles. I don't think anybody. There wasn't a point where I was like, "Who is that? Why are they there?" kind of thing. Like nobody stood out for any bad reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
As far as like the correlation between like this, and I'd like to draw in Brazil, but since I haven't seen that all the way through, and you haven't seen it at all, I can only make the comparison between this and Time Bandits. It was the style is very similar, but you can tell he put a lot more emphasis on different aspects of the movie. I mean, it's the same, yet it's different. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said at the beginning, you have a kid that's being thrust into a situation, and the way the child is thrown into it is completely different, but yet it's the same at the same time. You know, they want to go on this adventure, but they really don't. And then they go along in the adventure, and then they become a major part of that adventure. I mean, the only thing I would say that's different is that in the movie Time Bandits, the young kid wanted to stay. He didn't want to go back to his parents. Whereas in this one, the girl, she wanted to go back and rescue the town. So she was very concerned about the town. In fact, she was the only one by the end that was really concerned about the town. They were inside the large fish, and that was kind of a weird scene. I don't know if they handled that scene very well in some ways. What I mean is they're in the fish, and right here is exactly where I wanted to be. As soon as she's the only one that says we need to go back and rescue them, and the only thing that makes the Baron want to go back and rescue everyone is the horse, but they don't give a reason as to why. It just seems like it's just thrown into the horse. Now then the Baron changes his mind, says now we can go rescue them because the horse just appears out of nowhere, and that didn't really seem to make any sense as far as the story goes. I think if it might have been a little better if she had been able to convince the Baron rather than just having the horse appear and having him change that changed his mind. Maybe the girl could have convinced him that it was a good idea to go back and rescue everyone, and then that would have been the thing that made him change his mind and decide to go back. I thought that was very weak, that whole scene right there, that whole element of it.
I feel that for sure. One thing I did like, though, is every single time that she said, we have to go back, we have to save them. And he would say, they're fine. Everyone is totally fine. And then they would cut to like a battering ram right outside the building, or like a cannonball explosion. I just loved the delivery of that, where it's like the war is already over, it's done, and then there's something like that where it was good.
The funny part is I'm extremely personally, I'm like really anti-war, and every time I see someone getting killed, I'm like, okay, it's like in real life I'm anti-war. So I'm watching this story, I'm like, there's a casual disregard for everybody's life in this one. It's like, nope, they're all dead, doesn't matter, all dead, it's okay, because they're the bad guys, it's okay if they're all dead. So
Yep. Yeah. It all depends on who's telling the story.
the who else was the score, the music on this is really, there are elements of this that have really stuck in my head. I can actually hum some of the melody when I'm like it, just when I have songs that get stuck in my head, I actually hum some of the score from this movie in my head sometimes. So I actually bought the CD when it was out, and it's the music is just done very well. I'm not sure who the composer is on this one. It's better than I think the music in this is a little better than the one in Time Bandits. Though Time Bandits was good, obviously. I just think the score in this it just blew me away. Some of the scenes that really stand out are when they're going to the moon in the ship. It has like a dreamy kind of style of music. Where is that? The funny part is on the CD, the scene where he has the torturer's apprentice, where all those people are screaming inside. The CD actually has that in there, and you can actually hear the people screaming and going ooh ah ooh ah. So it's just kind of funny. Anyway, where the ship is actually, where they're in the balloon and they're floating away. I guess it's over here. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this scene right here, when they're floating away, it was for the first time. That music is probably one of the best part. That's probably one of the best elements of the whole movie as far as the score is concerned for me. It is this we're off on the beginning of a grand adventure, and it just feels so lively. And I actually use this when I used to do some imaging for a radio network I used to work for back a lot. I had all my production CDs. This is when the internet was still just taking off. So if you wanted to get something, you had to either have it on CD or you had to get it off of Grokster or Napster. So I had the CD, so I was able to use some production elements with this music in the background, like little stingers, and I'd take little extractions from the CD and actually use it, incorporate it into the liners. So, and I'm hoping some people caught on to it, but I just felt I was just so addicted to it, I had to incorporate it in there somehow.
Nice. Those people who do catch that stuff makes a huge difference.
Now,
for sure.
I'm trying to think is there anything in particular? No. Would you recommend this movie, I guess, is another question I'd like. I assume you would.
Oh, totally. I totally would. But I wouldn't recommend it to someone who isn't open to ridiculous fantasies, because it all rides on this person who tells these lies, and like you said, has that conviction. And you can watch this movie if you don't relate to the people on stage that are rolling their eyes and like kind of thing. If you're that person, you won't like this movie. But if you can give it a chance, if you're the type of person who can humor these people, you'll love the movie.
Yes. And also it's kind of cool to see some of these people in there as well. Let me go up to the credits here. Uh, Careful here. Okay. Good. I'll be careful here. I don't think this is gonna. I hope this doesn't get a copyright here. I'm gonna do this real carefully here. I'll pause it every so often. I wanted you to see. Yeah, right there. There it is. If you see right there, King of the Moon, Ray D. Tutto. So
Ray D. Tuttle.
he
So
does.
good.
I do find that funny though that they didn't want. I mean, he was still. I remember when this movie came out. He was still basically climbing the. He was still claiming. Was trying to what's the word I'm looking for? He was still becoming popular. He wasn't as popular. He got more popular as time went on because Good Morning Vietnam was like one of his first hit movies. I know he was in Popeye before that, but that wasn't really a successful movie. And I think Good Morning Vietnam was one of the ones that really launched him. And this one came out like a year or so after that. So he was well known, but he was slowly still becoming very popular. And I think they were afraid that this might hurt his career because he was still climbing up and becoming extremely popular. So
Yeah, I guess his agent made a good call as far as like this movie will probably not be that well received because you said it wasn't that big of a hit.
no, that's for
That's
sure.
so yeah. So that he might they might have made a good call there as far as not really putting his name on there. But um I loved it. I thought it was great and um would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, and the whole thing about the fantasy part, you would definitely have to have an open mind for that. Expect that. Otherwise, like I said, when I first saw it, I just couldn't. I really hated the movie. So,
Wow.
and I don't remember why. I think it was the fantasy elements. I think I thought, well, this is just getting really far fetched and really unbelievable. And it's like when they land on the moon and they're climbing up the rope and everything. I'm like, okay, come on, this is getting and then what I do is I open my mind up to the idea that this is fantasy, so I have to think from a fantasy point of view. And then once I do that, then it's like then I can appreciate it. So,
Yep, for sure.
so would you like to go back? I'm not sure what you did there, but you got okay. Your audio seems to have changed a little bit there. Um, would you like to go back and check our question? There we go. Let's see. How could we phrase this?
Yes. How's this? Do you know someone who tells ridiculous fake stories or is a pathological liar? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. No. I'm that person.
You know someone who how did you say that? Who tells? Tell me.
Who tells ridiculous fake stories?
Or is a pathological liar?
Yeah. This will, you know what? And I'm looking forward to the comments on this because if you aren't that person, you're going to have a lot of stories about these kind of people.
Liar. I just spelled. Damn it! I figured. Hold on a second. Liar. Oops. There you go.
Yep.
Okay. And then we can leave the second question in there as well, so they can.
Sure.
Yeah, that worked. Okay. Oh, what was the part? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. What were the answers? What were the? I'm sorry. Yes. No.
Yes. No. I am that person.
Okay. I am that person. Okay. Do you know someone who tells ridiculous fake stories or is a pathological liar? What's a story you like to tell people that don't understand? Just don't understand. Just don't get it. That worded pretty well. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Looking forward to the comments on this.
Okay. Does that look good? I'm going to go ahead and post it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Let me go back to make sure it's there. Oh, I would like to say I posted a question. This is getting off topic here, but yesterday I posted a question: which Asian country do you like the best? Right, just for fun. And I got 109 responses on this. How many people said I put Russia as the one of the answers, and several people said Russia's not part of Asia.
Well, 41% of you think it is, so
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Response. I didn't bother responding to those ones. Okay. Oh,
get ready. I'll put my.
Oh. So yes.
Yeah. They are not that person though. That's what's funny.
Yeah. So not, yeah. Well, I'm sure. And if they are that person and they answered, how do we know that they're being honest?
Yeah. What if they're just lying about someone else being that person? Awesome.
All right. So that was our look at The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, a movie we both recommend. And as far as Terry Gilliam films go, it's very similar to Time Bandits. I've only seen bits of Brazil, and so I cannot fully recommend Brazil. But based on my dad's recommendations, he would say yes, it's worth watching. So eventually, we'll probably get around to watching that one, and we can probably review that as well, so we can see how much it ties in with these two as far as how much fantasy is mixed in with that, and why Terry Gilliam refers to this as a trilogy of movies.
I wonder if that movie features a child in a main role.
I know it's the main character is definitely the guy who played the bad guy in this one. So
interesting.
So I like I said, I've only watched bits and pieces of it, so it's hard to. I can't really comment on it. So I don't. Maybe it does, since I've only seen bits and pieces. Maybe there's a child in there somewhere that I don't know of. So, but all right. Well, we'll come back next. We'll be back next week, and until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.
Thank you.